The city was bathed in the golden glow of streetlights, but the night air felt heavier than usual, thick with the weight of something unsaid. Officer Jameson J. Wells stood at the edge of the rooftop, looking down at the city below. His hands gripped the railing tightly, his mind racing, his heart burdened with a question he couldn't shake. How had everything gone wrong? Jay had spent years working his way up through the ranks of the police force. He was good at his job, better than most, in fact. He knew the streets, knew the people, and above all, he knew what it meant to serve. But the longer he spent in the job, the more he realized that the lines between right and wrong weren't as clear as they seemed. The badge he wore, once a symbol of justice, now felt like a weight around his neck. And tonight, that weight seemed unbearable. Jay, softly, almost to himself, I never thought I'd be caught in the middle, between duty and blood, between justice and family. But here I am, wondering if I've been doing it all wrong. The weight of those words pressed against his chest. Jay had always seen himself as the protector of his community. Growing up in the heart of St. Mark's district, he knew how quickly things could spiral out of control. The same streets he had sworn to protect were now a battlefield, a place where crime and violence lurked at every corner. And despite his best efforts, the police had never been trusted by the community. He had tried to bridge the gap, to stand between the violence and the people he swore to protect, but the divide between law enforcement and the community had only grown wider. He took a deep breath, his mind wandering back to his childhood. St. Mark's had always been home. His father had been a mechanic, his mother a teacher. They'd raised him right, taught him the difference between right and wrong, between what was just and what was not. But that had been before the streets changed, before the violence, before the drugs, before the gangs had taken control. Jay had always believed that he could make a difference, that he could change things for the better. But now he wasn't so sure. His radio crackled, breaking him from his thoughts. Dispatcher, over the radio, urgent. Unit 9, we've got a report of a possible robbery in progress at the corner market. Proceed with caution. Jay's heart rate quickened. The corner market. It was the heartbeat of St. Mark's district, a place where families gathered, where neighbors became friends. It was more than just a store. It was a symbol of everything he had tried to protect. And now, it was under threat. He turned from the railing and sprinted toward his patrol car, his mind racing. He had grown up on this block. Mr. Thompson, the market's owner, had been like family to him. He couldn't let anything happen to it. He couldn't let the chaos swallow up the one place that had always felt like home. Jay slammed the car door shut and sped down the street, weaving through the evening traffic. The city felt different tonight, the streets darker, the air thicker. The sirens in the distance only added to the growing sense of dread. As he neared the market, the flashing lights of other patrol cars illuminated the street, casting long shadows on the sidewalk. The crowd had gathered, as expected. People stood in groups, watching from the curb, their eyes filled with anger and frustration. The same frustration that had been building for years. Jay parked the car a block away and approached on foot. He moved quickly, staying in the shadows, trying not to attract attention. He had to assess the situation before anything escalated further. He reached the corner of the market, where he saw Officer Kelly Barnes, a rookie who had been assigned to St. Mark's for just a few months. She was standing near the front door, her eyes wide with fear as she stared at the crowd. The gun on her belt was loosely attached, but she had her hand resting on it, a silent sign of the fear she was feeling. Jay approached her slowly, his presence calming her immediately. She looked at him with a mix of relief and apprehension. Barnes, nervously, voice trembling. Jay, I don't know what to do. The crowd's getting restless. They keep shouting at us. They won't back off. And we don't know if the suspect is still inside. We've tried to call for backup, but… Jay cut her off, his voice firm but calm. Jay, reassuringly, I'm here. Stay close. We're going to keep this under control. We just need to assess the situation first. Don't make any sudden moves. We can't afford to escalate things. Jay moved toward the door of the market, keeping his distance from the officers already on the scene. His eyes scanned the area, assessing the crowd, noting the tension in the air. These people weren't here for a robbery. There was something more at play. As he stepped inside the market, the first thing he noticed was the silence. It was too quiet. The place felt deserted, almost hollow. But the unease in the air was palpable. He could feel it. Jay, reflective, there's something about this place. It feels like it's been abandoned for a long time. But it's more than just the store. It's the whole neighborhood. The trust, the connection, it's all gone. Jay moved cautiously, his hand hovering over his gun, but not drawing it yet. The market was empty. No sign of the suspect. No movement. But then he heard it. A faint rustling coming from the storage room at the back. Without hesitation, Jay moved toward the noise. His steps were quick and measured, every part of him alert. When he reached the door to the storage room, he stopped. It was quiet again, too quiet. His instincts screamed at him to turn back. But he couldn't. Not when the people outside were depending on him. He pushed the door open, his flashlight cutting through the darkness. And then he saw him. Marcus, a young man who had been caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. He was crouched in the corner, his hands shaking, his eyes wild with panic. Marcus, pleading, voice cracking. I didn't want to do it, man. They forced me. They said if I didn't, I'd never see my sister again. Jay froze. Marcus was not the suspect. He was a pawn in something much bigger. Jay, voice calm but firm. Put the gun down, Marcus. It's over. You don't need to do this. Marcus's hand wavered, the gun still gripped tightly in his palm. Jay's heart pounded as he moved closer, inching toward the young man. But just as he took another step, he heard the sound of footsteps from the front of the store. Jay, thinking to himself, voice heavy, no? This isn't just a robbery. It's something worse. Someone's pulling the strings, and I need to find out who. Now, the door to the market suddenly slammed open, and the noise from the crowd outside grew louder. Jay's hand reached for his gun, but it was too late. The police outside were already moving in. The situation was escalating fast. Jay, desperately, almost to himself. There's no going back now. Jay's hand hovered over his gun as the door to the storage room slammed open. The flashing lights outside reflected off the shelves, casting eerie shadows on the walls. His heart raced as he turned to face the officers entering the room. But it wasn't just any officer who stepped into the doorway. It was Captain Reynolds, and he wasn't alone. Behind him, another officer stepped into the room, Detective Marcus Green, a man Jay had known for years. But there was something in his eyes. Something off. His gaze was cold, calculating. Jay, softly, almost whispering. What are you doing here, Green? Green, with a cold smile. You're in over your head, Jay? But you already knew that, didn't you? The room went silent.